Hey, what's up, guys? Let's get into this episode of The Housewives. Alright, y'all, what's going on? I am back. My voice is 100% back, and we are gonna get into this episode of the Atlanta Housewives. Okay, now the whole episode started, of course, giving you guys a recap of what took place on last week's episode. Now we have Phaedra and Kenya, who are trying to be best friends, and I don't really understand that dynamic, but hey, if they like it, I love it. I honestly don't think that it's gonna last because there's some unresolved issues between those two that you can't really just ignore. You kind of have to address it and then see if you can still be friends with that person. But in the meantime, they trying to let bygones be bygones. Alright, so it's Peter's birthday. They wanted to do a roast. I'm not a big fan of roast, only because it can go left really quick. And plus, some people, they don't know how to do it all in good fun. It's good to roast some. A lot of people just, I don't know, it could go left. When you roasting somebody, it could really go left. And of course, you know, the roast was so lame. Like, nobody was really saying nothing like super funny. All they were doing is just taking like digs and you know just laughing about it, picking at him and laughing at it. It was just so it was lame. But I guess, you know, they had a good time doing it. Excuse me, I'm tired. Now, when they went on the boat ride, once again, Sheree and Bob. Why in the world is Sheree messing with Bob? You already know what he is. You already know what's going on with him. You already know how he is. He has not changed. He's not going to change. He does not want to change. All he wants to, he's just really immature. Like, I've seen some immature dudes, but for him and the age that he is to be that immature, I don't see how she could put up with that type of dude. But anyway, she entertaining it, and I really don't understand why. Now let's get to the good stuff. This good old divorce party. Now when what's her face, when Kenya was planning this good old divorce party, now what I found strange was when she was doing the walkthrough of the presidential suite with the dude, with the manager of the hotel or whoever he was. She kept referring to Phaedra as her new best friend. And I'm just like, she's so quick to fall in friendship with folks. You know, people just fall in love easy and real quick. Well, Kenya, as long as you know, be chummy with her, she will give you that title of best friend. And I was just like, I don't know, honey. I don't think you need to be claiming Phaedra as your best friend. You know, now Cynthia, yes, because you know Cynthia, you ain't gonna really too much have no serious beef with. But her and Phaedra, nah, I think she reserved that best friend title for somebody else, because I honestly don't think that her and Phaedra are best friends like she claims she is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Also, I really think that if you're friends with somebody, there's just certain things that you need to know about them. And clearly Kenya didn't really, I don't think she's very perceptive, you know, when it comes to people and how they feel about certain situations. Like, she just has like a really general like view of things. Because if she really knew Phaedra and knew Cynthia, she would have known that a divorce party is something that wouldn't really be received well. But she just wanted an excuse to have a party. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you know, she did have very good intentions. But when you're having events like that, like divorce parties and, you know, wild and crazy bachelorette parties you're throwing for somebody, it is very important to know your audience. You have to know your audience, because if you don't know your audience and the person who you're throwing it for, it could turn left, which it ultimately did. Because after everything was all said and done, and when Cynthia walked in the door, she really was just like, yeah, but I don't want a divorce party. Like, what happened to her was not no woohoo, yay, you know, type situation. You know what I mean? Like, deep down inside, I really felt like Cynthia really did not want the divorce. But I think because of Peter's actions, which she's not gonna, of course, she's not gonna disclose that. She ain't gonna put Peter out in the street, you know, put him out there like that. You know, I believe that that's the reason why she, you know, she was sad about it. And I just found it so strange that earlier in the day when she had a little birthday lunch for Peter, that she blamed the divorce on herself. And now I know that we watch these shows and we see bits and clips and small pieces of these people's life, but it really shocked me that she blamed the entire divorce on herself. Like, she's not a traditional person, she's not wife material, and I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. And I've seen situations where a lot of women blame themselves when their husbands are unfaithful. They personalize it and they pick apart the whole affair and they justify it in some way, you know, by saying that they did something wrong, or, you know, there some actions or some issue that they had personally contributed to that person stepping out. And I just found that a little bit disturbing, a little bit for me, you know, because her temperament, she doesn't seem like the kind of person that is just, you know, if she's in it, she's in it, you know. And so when Cynthia walked into the party, and she just really was just like, you know, yeah, I'm going through divorce, but I really didn't want to party, and I'm still a little sad about it. And it literally just, it poured cold water over everything that Kenya tried to do. And Kenya was so damn excited and so happy that she just knew this whole situation was going to get a great, people were going to, you know, receive it well, and they were going to have a good time and all that, but it really did not work out that way. So yeah. Now when Portia and Phaedra walked in the door, I mean, almost immediately you could see that Phaedra was extremely bothered by the whole party. She was extremely bothered and she was angered by it, you know. And that's why I say you have to know who you're throwing the party for, because you do not want to inadvertently, you know, offend somebody, you know, without realizing it. And I think that's what happened. And instead of Phaedra, and I thought that it would have been a little bit better if Phaedra would have, you know, said, you know, I don't really agree, you know, with this whole party business. I'm not really interested in it, you know, because if she would have, yeah, just say I'm not interested in it because I don't want to celebrate the breaking up of my family because I have 2 small children that lost their dad. You know, if she would have given that type of explanation, you know, right there and then people would have been like, oh, okay, yeah. And, you know, she could have excused herself and it would have been that. But of course, you know, all of those feelings and unresolved issues, you know, pretty much just boiled her grits. It boiled over, and she just, you know, and then she lied. It was like, oh, I don't feel good, I'm just gonna go back to my room. And it's just like, you know, and I don't like that. If you have a problem with something, speak your mind. Say what the damn problem is. Don't, oh, I don't feel good, oh, this and that, and then send a text, you know, saying, oh, this skank of a woman, why would you think it would be appropriate to celebrate the breaking up of a family? Like, that was unnecessary, you know, because if that situation meant as much as we know it meant to you, you should have had that conversation with her years ago. when the situation took place. You know, I honestly, you know, and you know, I don't give Kenya no kind of credit, but I really did not feel like she meant any malice in her, you know, throwing Cynthia and Phaedra a divorce party. It just that both of them, you know, it wasn't easy for both of them. You know, the divorce, they're not in the celebration mood. You know how when some stuff happen and you can't really laugh about it immediately, but in 5 or 10 years, oh, it's funny. You know, but back then it wasn't funny then when it happened. That's kind of like the situation, you know, that they're in. And she screwed up, you know, Kenya screwed up. But the way that Phaedra handled it was bad. She handled it bad because it was unnecessary. All she had to do was be very clear and concise and said that I'm struggling right now. You know, I'm really hurt. You know, my husband's locked up in jail. You know, we're getting a divorce. So even when he does get back, they're going to be separated. So the kids, you know, they have to try to learn who Apollo is completely all over again. Because when you're small, your dad leaves you as a toddler and he comes back and you're a tween. That's a lot of years to miss. And you're basically trying to get to know a brand new person. So I understand where she's coming from. I just do not like the way that she handled it, how she handled it. Because I just didn't think that it was unnecessary for her to go off on Kenya in that way. Yeah, so of course everybody is just like, you know, they're like kind of confused because the whole mood went from lighthearted and fun to just down in the dumps. And of course Portia with her big fat mouth, she talks so doggone much. Oh well, her divorce is just final, and nobody knew because Phaedra is not telling anybody her business anymore. And so of course Portia slips and says, oh well, you know, her divorce is just final and she's having a hard time with it, you know, trying to help out. I don't think she meant to slip and tell, but you know, she don't think before she opened her mouth anyway. And you know, when Kenya went back to Phaedra's room to talk to her, you know, that will be the situation, that will be the time to sit down and talk to Kenya. But to be honest with you, it's like that conversation should have been had years ago. It really should have been, because you can't really be crunk about a situation that happened so long ago in the past, and then in between time and in the meantime you cool with the person, and so you just look phony. Like, damn, if I knew that whatever that situation hurt you so bad, then like why are we cool? You know, it just make you look like a fraud, like make you look fake, you know, when you do stuff like that. And I really don't understand why Phaedra, I mean, I understand not telling anybody your personal business, but I think she keeps trying to play this role, and I hate that. I think the worst thing any person in the public eye can do is create this facade about themselves. Now Phaedra has this facade. She's a Christian, she's a Southern Belle, she's this, that, the third. Okay, that's fine to have standards and do certain things, but you can't portray yourself in one light and then turn completely around and be clapping your booty, wearing inappropriate stuff in public. And it's crazy to me. But now you're embarrassed that you're divorced. I don't even understand that. And that's one thing I don't like about people, like church people, you know what I'm saying, or Christian people, whatever you want to call it, you know, because I just feel like you should be yourself. You know, I'm not the kind of person, I always tell people, I don't ascribe to any particular denomination. I'm a lover of Christ, and the Lord loves me and I love him, and it's just that simple. I don't define myself with anything. I don't, you know, I'm not like that. You know, I'm not a super saint, you know, a person who's just, every time they open their mouth, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, ah, hey, ooh, you know, all that extraness is not necessary. You don't have to be perfect, because Christianity has nothing to do with perfection. And I think a lot of times I don't tell people my religious beliefs or affiliations because I don't want them to look at me differently. You know, because some people, you'll tell them, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, I go to church or whatever. And the first time you say a cuss word, oh girl, child, what kind of Christian are you? Like, stop it. We're all human. We all, you know, have the freedom to live our lives and do things that we want to do. Now, I want you to see the God in me, you know, based on how I treat you and how I interact with you and other people. But I don't want to create this facade of holiness and perfection because it's just not me. You know, I screw up, I mess up every single day just like anybody else. And I think, you know, divorce is kind of embarrassing for a lot of people, especially when you're in a realm of, you know, you're in a professional world, you're in the entertainment business, or you're just in a spotlight where you want to project a certain image. And I get that. But you can't, just like the Bible says, you cannot be so heavenly minded that you are no earthly good. Like when I go out and I see people, well, make sure my name tag is off. I went to my my internship today, and I almost got to see my name tag. But yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired. But yeah, when you go out in public, people should see the God in you just based on how you treat folks, how you are as a person. You know, because I know a lot of people are just mean, nasty, and hateful, but they be on the front row at church, and it's just like, where they do that at? You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, instead of Phaedra just lying a lot, and she lie a lot and stretch the truth, people will respect you more if you admit it. And like another YouTuber said, you do not allow anybody to use your business or your tea against you. You don't. You know, people will respect you more if you say, you know what, yeah, I was a stripper, but I'm not anymore. Yes, I used to steal, but I don't anymore. This is, you know, what we're doing now. You know, but if somebody hears something about you and you sit around and you lie about it, and it's public knowledge, you end up starting to look like really phony and suspicious. And that's one thing I don't like about Phaedra. This entire situation could have been resolved. You know what I'm saying? If she would have just said, you know what, Kenya, I'm not really into this divorce party. I'm still hurting, you know, from it. So I'm going to go on ahead and excuse myself. Thank you, though. You know what I'm saying? But of course, she let bygones be bygones prematurely, without having a serious conversation. I'm not going to let bygones be bygones until we iron out the issues, and I state my issue, you state your issue. Now, whether or not you want to admit to it or apologize is between you and God. But you know how I feel, and you know where I stand. And we can just agree to disagree, and we can agree to move on. But I'm not going to move on from a situation and I don't talk it out. And that's what Phaedra did. She moved on from a situation and she didn't talk it out with her. So the first time she did something where she felt like it was offensive, she just went left. And I'm just like, dang, I wonder if she think they best friends anymore. But yeah, that's just pretty much it. Other than that, it wasn't really nothing too much going on in the episode. You're going to see this whole situation play out in the next episode. So y'all stay tuned, honey, and we'll talk about it next week. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And I will see y'all next week. Bye.